How still and unhappy the house seems without Marmee.
Everything seems to have run down, like an old clock.
Meg, I wish you'd go and see the Hummels. You know that Marmee told us not to forget them. Poor family. They do need our help.
I'm too tired to go today, Beth.
And don't ask me. It's too stormy for me with my cold.
I thought it was almost gone, Joe.
Well, I'm well enough to go out with Laurie, but not well enough to go to the Hummels.
And I want to spend the afternoon sketching. I promised Marmee I'd keep working on it.
Why don't you go yourself, dear?
I've been every day, but the baby is sick and I don't know what to do for it. But since you're all too busy, I guess that I will.
That's my Beth, an angel of mercy.
And so Beth went out to visit the poor Hummel family. That night as Joe was passing in the hall, she heard Beth crying in her room. Quickly, she rushed in to see what was wrong.
Beth, dear, Christopher Columbus. What's the matter, Bethy?
Oh, Joe, you've had the scarlet fever, haven't you?
Years ago when Meg did. Why?
Then I'll tell you. Oh, Joe, Mrs. Hummel's baby died of scarlet fever when I was there today.
My poor dear, how dreadful for you.
It wasn't dreadful, Joe, only sad. I've taken some belladonna, as the doctor told me, so that I shan't get the fever myself.
Oh, no. My Beth, you won't get sick. Oh, Beth, if you should be sick. I never could forgive myself. But you won't be sick, will you, Bethy? You'll be well. You'll be well.
Beth did get scarlet fever. But with the help of the doctor and Hannah, she pulled through it nicely, and when Marmee came home from Washington, she was feeling fine, although a little weakened and a bit more frail.
Oh, my girls, it's so good to be at home with you once again for a quiet evening, just as we used to be. Father is almost well now, and Beth's scarlet fever is gone, so we've no cause for worry, but may rededicate ourselves to our purpose in life.
Which purpose is that, Marmee?
Playing Pilgrim's Progress and learning to be true Christians, so that we may be prepared for our arrival to the celestial city.
It seems so long to wait, Marmee. So hard to do. I want to fly away at once, as the swallows fly, and go in the splendid gate.
You'll get there, Beth. No fear of that. I'm the one that will have to wait and fight and work and climb and maybe never get there at all. If I arrive late, you'll say a good word for me, won't you, Beth?
Heaven is bound to come true for all of us. I know it is.
If you work and pray wisely, it will, my girls.
Wouldn't it be fun if all the castles in the air which we make could come true?
I've made such quantities, it would be hard to choose which one I'd have.
You'd have to take your favorite one. Mine is this. I should like a lovely house full of all sorts of luxurious things, nice food, pretty clothes, and a heap of money. I am to be mistress of it with plenty of servants, so I never need to work a bit, and I'd have a splendid, good, wise husband with some angelic children. My castle wouldn't be complete without them.
I'd have a stable full of Arabian steeds, rooms piled with books, and I'd write using a magic inkstand so that all of my words should be famous. I want to do something splendid, something heroic or wonderful that won't be forgotten after I'm dead. I think I shall write books and then get rich and famous. That's my favorite dream.
Mine is to stay at home, safe with Father and Marmee.
Don't you wish for anything else, my Beth?
Since I have my little piano, I'm perfectly satisfied, and only wish that we may all keep well and be together. Nothing else.
I have ever so many wishes, but the pet one is to be an artist, and go to Rome and do fine pictures, and to be the best artist in the world.
We are an ambitious set, aren't we? Every one of us. But Beth wants to be rich and famous and gorgeous in every respect. I wonder if any else will ever get our wishes.
Well, my girls, you all have the keys to your castles. If you work and study and pray and are industrious and good, I'm sure the doors will open one day for all of you.
One evening a few weeks later, Jo sought out her mother for a few words of advice.
Marmee, I'd like to speak with you if I may.
What is it, Jo, dearie? Something about Meg, I think?
How quickly you've guessed. Yes, it's about her. Last summer, Meg left a pair of gloves over at the Lawrences', and only one was returned. We forgot all about it, till Laurie told me that Mr. Brooke had it. Mr. Brooke has admitted to Laurie that he liked Meg, but didn't dare say so, since she was so young and he so poor. Now, isn't that a dreadful state of things?
Do you think Meg cares for John?
Who?
Mr. Brooke. I call him John now. We fell into the way of doing so at the hospital, and he likes it.
Oh, dear. I know you'll take his part. He's been good to Father, and you won't send him away, but let Meg marry him if she wants to. Oh, I just wish I could marry Meg myself and keep her in the family.
John is a fine man. Joe, both your father and I respect and admire him. Meg is 19 now and old enough to think of such things. I believe that she loves John very much, my dear, and I know he adores her. Don't make plans, Joe, but let time and their own hearts mate your friends.
I know, Marmee, that I should be glad, but I do wish wearing flat irons on our heads would keep us from growing up.
And though Joe couldn't keep the girls from growing, many exciting things were always happening to the little family. And sometimes growing up meant special things, good and wonderful things. One day...
Oh, Marmee, a letter!
Is it from Father?
No, dear, he's still not well enough to write us every day.
I do miss Father so.
So do we all. It would be such a comfort to have him home.
From whom is the letter, Marmee?
From the happy smile on your face, it must be good news.
It is good news, my girls. It's from your Aunt March. She's going abroad next month, and...
She wants me to go with her.
No, dear Joe, not you. It's Amy.
Am I to go to Europe?
That's what Aunt March requests.
Oh, Marmee, she's too young. Since Meg is engaged to Mr. Brooke, and I'm the oldest one left, it's my turn. I've wanted it so long. It would do me so much good and be so altogether splendid. I must go.
I'm afraid it's impossible, Joe. Aunt says Amy decidedly, and it's not for us to dictate when she offers such a favor.
It's always so. Amy has all the fun, and I have all the work. It isn't fair. Oh, it isn't fair.
I'm afraid it's partly your own fault, dear. When Aunt spoke to me the other day, she regretted your blunt manners and too independent spirit. And here she writes, as if quoting something you had said, I planned at first to ask Josephine, but as favors burden her, I think I won't venture to invite her. Amy is more docile and will receive greatly any help the trip may give her.
Oh, my tongue, my abominable tongue. Why can't I learn to keep it quiet?
I wish you could have gone instead of me, Joe dear.
That is kind of you, Amy, but there is no hope of it this time. I hope you will try to bear it, Joe, with cheerfulness, and don't sadden Amy's pleasures by reproaches or regrets.
I'll try, Marmee, but it won't be easy, for this is a dreadful disappointment.
Joe, dear, I suppose I'm very selfish, but I couldn't spare you, and I'm glad you're not gone quite yet.
Thank you, Bethy. And Amy, I do wish you all the happiness. I know how much you've wanted to go to Rome for your art's sake.
Poor Joe! It was so hard for her to get used to the idea of becoming a grown lady and giving up the tomboy life forever. Her sister's marriage to John Brooke made her more aware than ever of the passing of childhood, and more she would seek Marmee out for long, comforting chats by the fireplace.
Oh, Marmee, growing up is such a dreadful thing.
What makes you say that, my Joe?
Meg is a married woman now, and Amy off to Europe learning to be a lady. The house isn't the same without them.
I have no doubt of it. But are these things the only reasons that you look upon growing up with such distaste?
No, Marmee. It may be vain and wrong to say, but I'm afraid Laurie is getting too fond of me.
Then you don't care for him the way it is evident he begins to care for you?
Mercy, no. I love the dear boy, as I always have. As a brother. But as for anything more, it's out of the question.
I'm glad of that, Joe. I don't think you're suited to one another. You're much too alike and too fond of freedom, not to mention your tempers and strong wills, ever to get on happily together as man and wife.
Oh, thank you, Marmee. I'm to meet him for a walk in a few minutes, and knowing that you feel as I do will make things ever so much easier for me.
Joe, There's something I want to ask you, Joe.
Oh, no, Laurie, please don't.
I will, and you must hear me. It's no use, Joe. We've got to have it out, and the sooner the better for both of us. I've loved you ever since I've known you, Joe. I couldn't help it. You've been so good to me. I've tried to show it, but you wouldn't let me. Now I'm going to make you listen and give me an answer, for I can't go on this way any longer.
I wanted to save you this. I thought you'd understand.
I hoped you'd love me, Joe, though I'm not good enough.
Yes, you are. You're much too good for me, and I'm so grateful to you, and so proud and fond of you. I don't see why I can't love you as you want me to. I've tried, but I can't change the feeling, and it would be a lie to say I do when I don't.
Really? Truly, Joe?
Really? Truly, Lori. Oh, Lori, I'm so sorry. So desperately sorry. I could kill myself if it would do any good. I can't help it. You know it's impossible for people to make themselves love other people if they don't. I agree with Marmee that it would be a mistake if we were so foolish as to...
Mary? No, it wouldn't. If you love me, Joe, I should be a perfect saint, for you can make me anything you like.
No, I can't. I've tried it and failed. And I won't risk our happiness by such a serious experiment. I can't say yes truly, so I won't say it at all. You'll see that I'm right by and by, and thank me for it. But I am fond of you, Lori, and we'll be good friends the rest of our lives. Lori! Where are you going? Come back, Lori! He won't do anything rash, I'm sure. And he will get over this and forgive me someday, for in my heart of hearts I just know I'm right about all of this. I know.
Now that she was no longer free to give any of her love and affection to Lori, Jo became closer than ever to her dear little Beth, and tended her with all the care and devotion she was capable of.
Bethy, dear, I heard you coughing and I came to try and make you more comfortable. How are you feeling, pet?
Better, thank you, Joe, now that you're here.
Why, how pale you are. You look quite like a ghost.
Oh, don't say that dreadful word.
What's wrong, dear? Oh, no, my darling, no. Don't even think such things.
But it's true, Joe. It's true. My health is slipping. I'm glad you know it now, for I've tried to tell you, but I couldn't. You've known it for a good while, dear, and now I'm used to it. It isn't hard to think of it, or to bear. Try to see it so, and don't be troubled about me, because it's best. Indeed it is.
Is this what made you so unhappy in the autumn, Beth?
Yes, I gave up hoping then, but I didn't like to own up to it. I tried to think it was just a fancy, but I never fully recovered from the scarlet fever, and when I saw you all well and strong and full of happy plans, it was hard to feel that I could never be like you. I couldn't bear to make you unhappy when you were so happy with Lori, or so I thought.
I don't care what becomes of anybody but you, Beth. You must get well, you must.
I want to. Oh, so much I try, but every day I lose a little strength, and I feel that I shall never gain it back. It's like the tide, Joe. When it turns, it goes slowly, but it can't be stopped.
But 19 is too young. Beth, I can't let you go. I'll work and pray and fight against it. God won't be so cruel as to take you from me. Oh, Bethy, my Bethy. You can't die. I won't let you.
I don't know how to express myself, and shouldn't try to anyone but you, because I can't speak out except my Joe. I only mean to say that I have a feeling it was never intended that I should live long. Remember when we were all younger, building our castles in the air? I couldn't seem to imagine myself, even then, as being anything but stupid little Beth, trotting at home, of no use anywhere but there. I never wanted to go away, and the hard part now is leaving you all. I'm not afraid, Joe, but it seems I shall be homesick for you, even in heaven.